Hey y'all, it's Jeremy with Double J Farms Homestead. We're back in the kitchen. This weather's getting a little cooler, and Mom and Daddy hadn't felt good, and the boys, they just want something different from that big birthday supper the other night. So I thought we'd make a big pot of this homemade soup. I usually prefer to have like roast, like I do a chuck roast, and cook it slow, but this was a last minute thing, so we're going to use hamburger. It's still good that way, but I do prefer chuck roast. Cook it slow like all night, then add my vegetables. We're going to use stuff that we canned out of the garden. And to make this, everybody knows how to do it, but some people may not, so I want to bring you along. And Miss Joyce Allen, if you're watching, I have fell in love with this tripod you sent us. We want to thank you again for that gift. It's made things so much easier, and we appreciate it so much. We've used it with filming the cows and that kind of thing, and using it now, and it makes it so much easier. And I just want to thank you again for your kindness. We appreciate you, and so much. And so y'all, we're gonna get to do it here. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna put in it, and then we'll start cooking. Thank you for watching. Okay, y'all, I want to show you. I'm gonna just use some plain canned tomatoes, some of our green beans, and then some tomatoes and okra we canned. And then a jar of this is a base for spaghetti sauce, but it's got onions and stuff in it, so I'm gonna use some of that as well. Corn out of our garden, and some limas and some purple whole peas that we got at the grocery store, because I don't have any of what we had put up out of the garden over here. I'm out. And then just a regular pack of hamburger. We're cooking for a crowd, so this will make a big pot of soup. But folks, look at the price for a pack of hamburger. $18.84. Miss Lynn, she went to the store this morning and got it. And it's costing now. And that's the very reason why I encourage everybody, if you're able and you have the space, to put up all you can as far as produce. Because you see of what we've got here. If we'd had to buy that at the store, you know, it would just been that much more. So that's the good thing about gardening. So we're just going to get this soup to going, and thank you for watching. Got this on. I'm not going to use it all. I'm going to save part of this for another meal. But we'll get this fried down, and we'll drain the grease off of it. And then we'll begin adding our vegetables. Well, y'all, we've got the hamburger browned. I've got Lynn's little trusty windmill here, I call it. See that thing? I call it a windmill. But it does chop up your meat really good. Sorry that steam, but I got it good and hot. We're going to start to add our vegetables. And so y'all just hang out with us. Okay, y'all. I've got my lids off. I'm going to add a quart of tomatoes. Honey, will you drain those beans for me? Thank you. We're going to add a quart of our tomatoes and okra. And I'm gonna also add a quart of this base that is what we use a base for spaghetti sauce, but it's got onions already in it. We're gonna add a jar of that. We're gonna also add a quart of beans. Thank you, honey. Lynn and Carson, they always are the ones that pack the beans. And my grandma would be so proud. My grandma Moore would be so proud because she used to say, I can remember just as a little boy now. You got to remember, I was 12 when she passed away. But I would help her when she can. And she would always say, honey, but this was back in the 80s now. She'd say, honey, them jars is high. So we need to pack just as much in there. You don't want no daylight down here at the bottom of your jar. So Lynn and Carson, they do excellent packing these jars because there's no daylight in them. And my grandma Moore would be so proud. She was very, very conservative as far as when it came to stuff because she was born in 1908. So they didn't have a lot back then, and grew up in a big family, and it made a difference. I'll tell you, I had her lima beans. I'll tell you a funny little story. My Uncle Rufus, I don't know if y'all ever heard of the Bean Shooter Man. He was on Johnny Carson, and he did a lot of stuff, but he was my grandmother's brother. And he would tell me, he'd say, we figured out that Mama was hard of hearing. Said that Daddy would come to bed and said he would ask Mama, say, you want to sleep or what? And she'd say, what? And the next thing you know, there's another young'un on the way. Big family back then. And he would always joke about that and told me as a teenager coming up, and I've never forgot that. But she was from a big family. So they had to be very careful in how they put up stuff and made stuff last. Let me turn this light out. That's better. But as we're putting this together, y'all just hang with me, but I just had to tell a little story about Uncle Rufus. We're going to add some purple hull peas too. Like I said, I don't have any over here that we had put up last year. They're all over at our house. And I'm over at Lynn's now. And pack of those. And then we're going to put a pack of our corn that we put up. We grow the Amish Incredible. We order our seed out of Holmes County in Ohio. And I fell in love with this corn years ago. And I still love it to this day. To me, it is one of the best tasting varieties I've ever had. And we've grew it for years. But I'm going to add some seasoning. Something else my grandmother always would do, and you may do it and you may not, but for a big pot of soup, she would put about 2 tablespoons of butter. And I don't know what it does, but I'm telling you, it makes a difference in your homemade soup. I don't know what the difference is, but it does make a difference in the flavor. You wouldn't think it would, but it does. So I'm gonna put a couple tablespoons of butter in here, and we'll have that, and then some salt and pepper, and we'll have it on the way. All right, y'all, we've got it all put together, and y'all gonna think this is crazy, but you see that big spoon right there? I've got one at home that I call my lunch lady spoon. And after me and Lynn started dating, and I come over here and we'll start cooking, I was going over here in her utensil drawer one day, and I saw this big lunch lady spoon, and I knew right then she's all right. Because every kitchen needs what I call a big lunch lady spoon. And I seen that big lunch lady spoon. I knowed right then, little Lynn, she was all right. But as you can see, we've got everything mixed up good here. It is already smelling really good. We're going to let this simmer all day. And tonight, when this stuff's ready, we'll bring you back. Miss Lynn may even have a homemade cake of cornbread or two. And we'll bring you back when we get it all done. We're just going to let it cook slow. And we'll see y'all after a while. All right, y'all. Told you we'd bring you back. And everything is done. And I wish you could smell it. It is smelling so good. Miss Lynn, she's been tending to it today while I've been back at my house. And I want you to look here what else she's got. Homemade cornbread to go with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just simple homemade soup, but it's some kind of good. And we appreciate you watching this episode of Back in the Kitchen. Hope you're all doing well, and we thank you for watching.